must be accorded to the state if the state does need it, only for national developmental purposes. And so, if judges' accommodation, National Passport Office, and other state institutions are on it, including even diplomatic, property are on it, that is fine. But let us put ourselves in the context of when that project started. That's when Akufo-Addo dreamt that nightmare of a dream of, and I don't know which God he serves. I don't. And so I'm not going to pretend it's the same God you and I serve. I don't. I mean, I've seen a picture of him with those horns you're talking about from one pastor who's bleached himself. I don't really remember the name. A bleached pastor.
Uzubemba.
That's his name, right?
But why are you so afraid to mention his name?
No, I don't recall the name. I saw the bleached pastor giving him horns, and it didn't come with a name, but I believe that's the name. And so if the God I serve doesn't believe in horns, so I don't think it's my God. Is that your God?
No.
I don't think it's Allah either. Allah doesn't believe in horns. So that is a different Akufo-Addo God, which we did not vote for. We didn't vote for Akufo-Addo and his God. So if he has his private pact with his God, that is his personal matter. It's not a presidential matter, let alone the people's matter. Now, the people of Osu, through lawyer Bright Akwete, went to court to injunct the process. Injunct the process. Now, I want to believe very strongly the Chief Justice at the time, Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo, all right, is alleged by not the Reverend, not the one with the dual passport, dual mother, identity, different, date of birth. Not that one. There's another gentleman. He's a doctor something.
Paul Opoku. He's a secretary.
Yeah, the one who was at the presidency receiving salary.
Yeah, Paul Opoku.
Mensa. That's right. He claimed, and Kosi Watson also came to affirm same on national. But let me mention the station, Joy FM and Joy News TV. He confirmed that Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo gave them judicial permission to circumvent the injunction and the court processes and start work. Charlie Boss, you are the lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Counsel.
Yes, my boss.
Is there any such thing as judicial permission to ignore court processes that are way underway and proceed when an issue is injuncted? That's a chief justice. Even Tokeno wouldn't do that. Tokeno wouldn't do that. So why did Sophia Akuffo do that? In fact, Sophia Akuffo of all people, the person who bought my land in cantonments for 7,000 Ghana cedis.
That's what even freaks me.
Why would she do that? So in this net must be dragged all the cockroaches.
Absolutely.
All the roaches must come on board. And the roaches will not end with Akufo-Addo. Justice Sophia Akuffo must speak. She's speaking now.
Yes.
She's a member of the Council of State, and I expect that she will speak to this issue and say that it is not true. She did not give any submission, in which case that doctor must be hauled. Reverend Kosi Boateng must be hauled, because these two may have made false claims against the Chief Justice, who said nothing at the time but can't speak now. She's no longer Chief Justice. She must speak. Now, beyond the land matter, and of course the value of the land must be taken into consideration. You maybe stated a figure about $30 million.
Yeah.
$30 million, which the Osu people got nothing for.
Yes.
Which the Osu people who even were finding it difficult to have a palace. I mean, if that place had been used for the Osu palace, I'm sure the Osu people would have been happy. But that's not what the use should have been to. What national purpose could that have served? And that for me is critical. I believe that there were state institutions on it. Judges' bungalows were demolished. Judges' bungalows, some of whom were still in residence. I remember one such judge even resigned because of that. He was being handed out of that premise. And then know what happened? When they were relocated, and not again, no, Osu land has been taken for this stupid purpose, quote unquote. Then the judges are relocated to land. So I am affected by this decision because they were moved to airport and cantonments. And so our lands there were also, as it were, impacted. That is the land matter alone. Then there were private people also on this whose properties were demolished.
Actually.
We are promoting private businesses, and yet we demolish private property, including businesses, thriving businesses. And some of them have sued the country. And these people would expect to be compensated. Is it Ghanaian taxpayers who are supposed to pay?
Now who?
Or Akufo-Addo and his God? At the end of the day, financial loss has been occasioned. And so now, who must bear the cut? Akufo-Addo is not above the law. And the law must be tried and tested. This is a case, a perfect oral case.
It's a perfect one.
It's a perfect oral case. The land must be retrieved. And sadly, do you know what has happened?
Tell me.
Kwesi Kwarteng and his gang, they are claiming that the land, even President Mahama has no right to question anything about that land. And that the land has been given to them. Can you imagine? And that the project must go on. Hey!
We sell the land for it.
No, what was going on here? And you see, sadly, you guys in the media, or civil society, I hold you guys responsible for part of the things that are going on in this country. A section of the media will refuse to talk about this. Civil society will not talk about this just because they are trying to protect some particular people and some particular political interests. And you put it even differently about the pastoral interests. Some of the pastors are not going to be responsible for this that has happened because a lot of them spoke. I remember some resigned.
Yeah, some resigned.
And those who resigned said why they resigned. They said they had no control over what was going on. The board had no control. The thing was being managed from the presidency.
Sure.
Now, who in the presidency was calling the shots? No. Was it President Akufo-Addo? Was it Bedi Acho? Who was calling the shots? And I'll take you to the trade fair so we can understand the circumstances of this. There is a parallel, a complete parallel to this in the trade fair, in the Marine Drive, in several other national developmental projects that were undertaken under Akufo-Addo. The same David Ajayi was given contracts, the trade fair contract, to redesign. Yeah. When indeed there was originally a design.
Yeah.
He was again, like this one, paid before he was given even the contract.
How can we do that to us?
He was prepaid, and I had board minutes of the trade fair confirming that, which had been signed by the board chairman and the board secretary, that the gentleman was paid before even her contract was signed.
Wow.
So I'm not disputing at all what the pastors have said in the case of the National Cathedral.
Yes. They said they didn't know anything about it.
David Ajayi, in the case of the Trade Fair Redevelopment Project, was not only given the contract, he was handpicked. He was so and imposed. So who did that imposition? If we find the person who did it here is the same person who did it there and elsewhere. Now, I'll say again, David Ajayi, in fact, in the case of the Trade Fair, you know what he did? He and the CEO, they went to see the CEO of the Cocoa Board to take 50 acres of the land. And they didn't have any plan for what we're going to use for.
You mean David Ajayi himself was taking 50 acres of the land?
He and the
CEO of Cocoa Board.
The one who Ken Ofori-Atta personally signed her appointment letter. Gabby's friend, who he brought from Canada.
Oh, I see.
The dentist from Canada that Gabby brought. Ken Ofori-Atta signed his her appointment letter. In fact, he go and ask your boss. The two of you, your boss, Alan Chemantin, was sidestepped. I met Alan in his office.
Yes.
Over the trade fair thing, he was totally sidelined. So Alan cannot be held responsible.
No.
In fact, the good news is that Ken has put himself in the driving shoe for the prosecution in the case of the trade fair related activities and exonerated Alan. Because he sidestepped me. He took over control, total. Alan, thank your God for allowing the man to take the burden off you. But I say to you that there were documents that compelled them to abandon the $2 billion investment that they went to sign in Dubai. President Akufo-Addo himself went there.
Yes.
He even dodged McDan, the board chairman. He dodged him. And went to Dubai to go and sign a $2 billion thing. Why did he abandon it? Because the document was sitting at Parliament waiting for him. They abandoned the thing and have shared the land. That is exactly what Kwesi Kwarteng and others want to do with this land. They want to share the land.